Hi, this is Cheryl. So at this point, your flowers should be dry and ready to go. Your flourish should have a little bit of dimension to it. Let's talk a little bit about some of these flowers. This was my smallest one. When I smashed it, it came out a little bit misshapen. It's okay. There's nothing really wrong with that. It'll be just fine. For these other two, I wanted to show you, I sort of did these intentionally so they'd work out this way. If you're not rolled tight enough at the center, you end up with these open centers, which is what I've got with both of these two flowers. To fix that, you can add either a little rhinestone or a little pearl in the center, and that's going to cover that up. So you have plenty of opportunities to take care of these things. I was straighter with that. You could see it maybe. Honestly, not doing very well with that one. Grab another one for this one. Again, just place it in the center of your flower, and you can see how now you can't really see that that center was not full. It's just fine as it is. My glue's still a little bit wet here in my flower. I didn't do as I told you to do, wait until everything was dry. So I've got my center in here. Again, this is the one that ripped a little bit and needs a little repair. So I'm going to go to the back side. Actually, the rip is up here. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue to hold these petals into place. Now, if you're careful with it at this point in time, you won't have to wait for the glue dry. If you're like me today, maybe you want to wait for it to dry, whichever works best for you. But then I'm going to go to the front part and I'm going to push it together as I want it to appear and then hold it in place while that glue sets just for a moment. So there's ways of fixing everything. When you end up with the smaller flowers, they can just be little buds. You're not going to put this on the most prominent part of the flourish, but you put it there and it will look just fine. So don't worry that your flowers are a little bit inconsistent. That's really okay. It's not a big problem. So my 3 flowers are ready to go. I've taken my white card and I've added the layer of patterned paper. You're going to use score tape or another adhesive to put that in place, whatever your adhesive of choice is. And now it's time to add the flourish. Now, if you remember, we've got all these little dimensional leaves and we want to keep them dimensional. So we're going to, when we glue, I'm going to add glue, and I'm just using glue with this. There's no other better way of attaching these little things. I don't want to paste it down like you would do with sticky dots or something like that, because then I lose all the dimension with my leaves and my flourishes and everything. So I'm just going to go through selectively and add some drops of glue to make this work. I'm going to tack it into place, and it's just a light piece of paper. It's going to stick with no problem, except I can't get glue in this area. There we go. Now this is the right facing flourish, so I'm going to pull it over to this side and leave room for my happy birthday over here, as opposed to the other one where I had the left facing flourish and I had room for the happy birthday on this side. It just depends, sorry, on which flourish that you have in order to make that work out. So my flourish is attached now. If you haven't put enough glue on, you can go back and add a little bit more. Sometimes you have to press it down a little bit. Again, you want your leaves to pop up. They're supposed to do that. Now it's time to set our flowers in place. You kind of want your biggest, prettiest one to go in the largest flourish, and then the other 2 can go in these other areas. This one I should be adding a rhinestone to. If I add it to one, I add it to them all. You can even add a rhinestone where your center is pretty dense like this one. Let me just show you that. So they all look consistent. You want to have some consistency in your project. Again, you're going to add your happy birthday at the top. This is just a sticker. You're going to grab it off the sheet Sometimes easier said than done. It's a little springy. So the good news with these stickers, they always spring back into shape. So I've got my happy here. Trying to see if it's really straight there or not. And underneath it, the birthday. Oops. Every once in a while, just grab one of the extra pieces instead of the letter, so that makes it a little harder. You just have to put that down. Make sure you grab up a letter this time. But just set it into place. When you're sure it's where it belongs, it's straight and everything else, then you're going to put it down and just press it into place. Now the last thing you do is you add the little bow at the bottom, as you see here. So it's a super, super easy card to finish. Again, a lot of fun working with these rolled flowers. I chose the paper that I did. I know that you can't see that from the little flowers that are cut out, but it's a paper that has a little texture on it. It's got a little plaid pattern. I chose that because it does add something to the flower, even though you can't exactly see it. The same thing with the flourish. The flourish itself is cut from a polka dotted piece of paper. I did that again to give some additional colors and textures. You can't really notice it when anything is cut this thinly, but it does give you the same appearance. It gives you a nicer appearance with what you're doing. So patterned papers instead of solids work better. You don't want an overt patterned paper necessarily, just something that is a little bit subtle. That will add a lot to what you're working on. So I'm glad you joined me today for the online class Rolled Flowers. If you would, please take a minute and complete the evaluation for the course. We'd like to get your comments and your feedback so that we can continue to do these online classes and continue to do them better. Thanks for watching. Bye.